Hi everyone, it's Miss Pat again on another beautiful summer day. Today I'm next to the splash pad over here at Oxford Seymour Lake Park. So fun to be outside. I have some books about reading and I have some books about outside. I have a lot of books to read to you today on Read Me a Story. Thanks again to the folks over at Fort County Community Foundation for supporting our project so that I can read to you. I'm going to read you a story that's a favorite of my girlfriend's son. It's called Wild About Books, and it's all about animals and books. So let's see what they're doing. Wild About Books. Judy Sierra wrote all the words, and Mark Brown is the one who illustrated it. He drew the pictures. There's lots to look at on these pages. This book is also a poem. It has rhyming words in it and rhyming sentences. So let's see if we can hear them. It started the summer of 2002 when the Springfield librarian Molly McGrew by mistake drove her bookmobile into the zoo. Molly opened the door, she let down the stair, turned on the computer, and sat in her chair. There's the bookmobile. At first the animals watched from a distance, but Molly could conquer the strongest resistance. I don't know if I want a lion in there with me. Holy moly macaroni, look at how big these animals are. By reading aloud from Good Dr. Seuss, she quickly attracted a mink and a moose, a wombat, a oryx, a lemur, a lynx, 8 elephant calves, and a family of skinks. Wow, that is a lot of animals. I can see what's happening with before I read the words. I'm looking at the pictures. It looks like they're gonna stampede. They're all running over towards her. In a flash, every beast in the zoo was stampeding to learn about this new something called reading. It sounds like the animals didn't even know about reading. Forsaking their niches and nests and their nooks, they went simply wild about wonderful books, choosing thin books and fat books and cat in the hat books, and new books and true books and heaps of how-to books. Like they're all reading a book. Oh, and the librarian is giving books to other people. Giraffes wanted tall books and crickets craved small books, while geckos could only read stick-to-the-wall books. The pandas demanded more books in Chinese. Molly filled their request, always eager to please, and even found waterproof books for the otter, who never went swimming without Harry Potter. Raccoons read alone and baboons read in bunches, and llamas read dramas while eating their lunches. Hyenas shared jokes with red-bellied snakes, and they howled and they hissed till their funny bones ached. They were just cracking up. A tree kangaroo adored Nancy Drew, began solving mysteries right there at the zoo, such as why were the bandicoots books overdue? Gently, Molly taught lessons in treating books right, for a boa constrictor squeezed Crichter too tight. Oh no, look at, you can see. It's squeezing it too tight. Baby bunnies mucked up Goodnight Moon with their paws, and giant termites devoured The Wizard of Oz. Oh no, the termites were actually eating the books. And Bear's love of books was completely outrageous. They licked all the pictures right off the pages. Tasmanian devils found books so exciting, they soon had given up fighting for writing. They made up adventures so thrilling and new that others decided to be authors too. Pythons wrote with their tails, penguins wrote with their bills, and porcupines wrote with their very own quills. At the insect zoo, bugs were scribbling haiku. That's a kind of poem, a haiku. The scorpion gave each a stinging review. Pretentious, stinks, boring, redundant. Oh man. As the cheetah's new novel began to take shape, he read chapters each night to a Barbary ape. And although the gazelle couldn't spell very well, like everyone else, she had stories to tell. Imagine the hippo's enormous surprise when her memoir was given a Zulitzer Prize. With so many books, Molly knew what to do. She hired 12 beavers, a stork, and a gnu to build a branch library there at the zoo. Then the animals cried, "We can do it ourselves. We can check out books. We can put them on shelves." And they did, and they do. To this very day, 3 cheers for the Zoobrary. When you visit the zoo now, you surely don't mind if the animals seem a bit hard to find. They are snug in their niches, their nests and their nooks, going simply wild, wild about wonderful books. The end. This says this book is for our favorite doctor, artist, poet, fun concoctor, Dr. Seuss. Wild about animals. That was a book that's hard to read because it's a poem. It rhymed all the way through it. I'm glad you could read it with me today. Hi everyone, it's me, Miss Pat again, and now I'm going to read you another favorite story. The name of it is Pout Pout Fish. You can see he looks kind of pouty. I wonder what his problem is. We'll have to see. Deborah Deason wrote these words, and Dan Hanna was the person who drew the pictures. Let's see. And the name of it is The Pout Pout Fish. Deep in the water, where the fish hang out, lives a gloomy swimmer with an ever-present pout. I'm a pout fish with a pout face, so I spread the dreary wearies all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. Along comes a clam with a wide-winning grin and a pearl of advice for her pal to take in. Hey, Mr. Fish, your crosstown frown, don't you think it's time to turn it upside down? Says the fish to his friend, nice thought, Miss Clam. I hear what you're saying, but it's just the way I am. I'm a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout face, so I spread the dreary wearies all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. Along came a jellyfish. He floats through the ocean, his tentacles all trailing in a gentle locomotion. Hey, Mr. Fish, with your daily scaly scowl, I wish you wouldn't greet us with a grimace and a growl. Says the fish to his friend Mr. Jelly, I agreed I'd like to be more friendly, but it isn't up to me. I'm a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout face, so I spread the dreary wearies all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. Along came a squid, quite slender, squiggly sight. She is squirmy, she is squelchy, she is slightly impolite. Hey, Mr. Fish, you kaleidoscope of mope. How about a smile, a little joy, a little hope? Says the fish to his friend, Mr. Squid, I would try, but I haven't any choice. Take a look and you'll see why. I'm a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout face, so I spread the dreary wearies all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. Along came an octopus with 8 great arms, covered on the underside with tiny sucker charms. Hey, Mr. Fish, let me tell it to you straight. Your hokey-pokey sulking is an unattractive trait. Says the fish to his friend, Mr. 8. My chum, with a mouth like mine, I'm destined to be glum. Oh. He says his poem again. I'm a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout face, so I spread the dreary wearies all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. Oh, he does look kind of sad down there, doesn't he? Now along comes a fish in a silent silver shimmer. The gang has never seen before, his bright and brilliant swimmer. He approaches Mr. Fish, but instead of saying, hey, she plants a kiss upon his pout, and then she swims away. Well, that's a little different, huh? Mr. Fish was most astounded. Mr. Fish is aghast. He is stone-faced like a statue. Then he blinks and speaks at last. Mr. Friend, says Mr. Fish, I should have known all along. I thought I was pouty, but it turns out that I was wrong. I'm a kiss-kiss fish with a kiss-kiss face for spreading cheery cheeries all over the place. Smooch, 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 smooch. The end. Sometimes a kiss is all it takes to turn things around. That pout-pout fish, he looked like he was so sad, but then he got his little kiss and he felt much better. That's how it goes sometimes.
We here at OCTV cover the local events and government meetings of Oxford, Addison, and Leonard. We also produce and edit programs for you viewers out there. With the leadership of our station manager, Bill Service, we have been a very successful team, winning awards from the state of Michigan for Best Electronic Media, giving attention to our local veterans. We also won awards for excellence in directing and educational programs. With the help of our great new equipment and our technical directors, we write, produce, and broadcast our local news for you. Without our production manager, Terry Stiles, our channel and station wouldn't be the well-oiled machine it is today. She coordinates the editing assignments and shoot schedule with our editors and camera people. OCTV and its communities make a great team. Catch us anytime on YouTube. Go to Oxford Community Television YouTube.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines. There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
It was so fun when we were reading about Pout-Pout fish and how he lived in the water and he had all these water friends. I have another story that's about the beach, which is near the water. You can see the water right back here. So I thought we would read this story next. The name of this book is Sandcastle. Huh. Sandcastle is by Ina Sephardi. Oh my goodness. This looks like a beach with a lot of people on it. And there's the little girl on the front. I love building castles in the sand, so I built a sandcastle. But not just any sandcastle. It's getting pretty tall, I think. A real castle with domes and turrets and a crocodile moat. That's quite a sandcastle. And large windows with an ocean view. You can see the ocean. The ocean is kind of like a giant lake. Hey, wait, there's somebody inside with her. It was not long before kings and queens from all over the world came to visit my castle. It's 100% sand, murmured the king with the curly mustache. And you can hear the ocean, added the queen with her fancy pearl necklace. They were very impressed, especially with the dining hall, which served ice cream around the clock, any kind, anytime. That would be amazing. Look at all these different rooms she's made in her sandcastle. That evening, we had a grand party in the ballroom. Dollops of ice cream were served all night long. It was awesome. They had quite the party. Everybody's eating their ice cream. But at breakfast, the troubles began. Yuck, the royal almond strudel is full of sand, one king shouted. All the sand makes my tongue feel like beach jellyfish, complained the queen as she laid down her napkin. The next day, the triathlon of knights, here's the knights, had a tournament, was completely ruined. There is sand in my suit of armor, sobbed the bravest knight in the kingdom. I can't even lift a card from the pile. In the glorious greenhouse, all the rare plants wilted. They do not grow very well in sand, except for the cacti, which felt right at home. Right there. There were grains of sand between my royal toes. It's so itchy, muttered a queen. This is highway robbery, grumbled a king who could not open his royal treasure chest because the locks were full of sand. This is unacceptable, roared the king whose daily fig milk bath was utterly spoiled by sand. I'll never be able to fall asleep like this, snapped the old queen as she tried to shake the sand out of her Egyptian cotton sheets. It's even worse than a single pea underneath my mattress. Everyone was so angry. I didn't know what to do. My whole castle was made of sand. That's how it is with sand castles. So I made a sand ball. Guests in dresses and robes and suits of armor and towels and pajamas all took aim. 3 brave queens joined forces in the balcony. 2 kings made a pact to take control of the staircase. Then suddenly, see that big word, suddenly. Oh man, I wonder what's going to happen. What do you think happened? In came the sea and washed everything away. So I built a sandcastle. The end. Did you ever go to the beach? I love the beach. We were just, when we read the story about the beach and the giant sandcastle, it made me remember going camping. And this is a story about camping. The name of it is Camping Day. Let's see. Patricia Lankin wrote the words and Scott Nash drew the pictures. What shall we do today, said Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. Cookout, said Sam. Hangout, said Pam. Workout, said Will. Camp out, said Jill. Yes! They were excited. Look at it, a giant word, and they're all running. Yes, said Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. Take the maps, said Sam. The packs, said Pam. The lights, said Will. The tent, said Jill. We're off, said Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. Look at, they have all their stuff on top of their car. They drove and drove and drove. They parked their van beside a grove. North, south, east, west, they picked up the trail that looked the best. They hiked through the woods, they climbed the hills too, they stopped and sighed. Wow, what a view. Birds, said Sam. Trees, said Pam. Flowers, said Will. Bees, said Jill. Freeze, said Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. Hold still so that the bees would fly over them. They crossed a stream. They jumped a fence. Let's camp here. Set up our tent. Tie where, said Sam. Peg there, said Pam. Can't see, said Will. Help me, said Jill. Finally, said Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. Oh, look, I can see they have their tent up. Let's eat, said Sam. Hot dogs, said Pam. And beans, said Will. Oops, toot, said Jill. P.U., said Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. Some more, said Sam. More, said Pam. Songs, said Will. Stories, said Jill. Scary, said Pam, Will, and Jill. They put out their fire. They put out their light. They shivered in the ink-black night. Who snored? Asked Sam. Who roared? Asked Pam. Who growled? Asked Will. Who yowled? Asked Jill. Oh, they're looking kind of scared in their tent. Let's see, said Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. Wide jaws, cried Sam. Long claws, cried Pam. Big paws, cried Will. Loud roar, cried Jill. Dinosaur, cried Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. Let's scram, cried Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. Oh, it looks like they are running away. They grabbed their things, they ran and ran, they sped away in their small van. Stop, said Sam. Safe, said Pam. Home, said Will. Let's camp, said Jill. Zzz, that means they're sleeping. Snored Sam, Pam, Will, and Jill. The end. It looks like they ended up camping in their backyard. Camping day was a pretty great story. I love how they found a place to camp and then they ran home and camped in their own house. That was fun. Thanks for joining me.